All right, so we've already done a normal quantile or QQ plot for the weights of women in my data set. Now what I want to go ahead and do is I want to create another QQ plot for the ages of the women. So I've already gone through and created a theoretical distribution for 57 normally distributed, standard normally distributed values. And you see here that I did the actual z-scores for the weights. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sort my data set now by the ages instead of the weights and create an actual z-score column for the ages instead, so that I can use that column along with the theoretical z column to create another QQ plot. We already created a QQ plot for our weights right here, and we determined that the weights were from a normally distributed population. So now let's do the same thing for ages. Let's see. So the first thing we're going to do then is sort by age. So I'm going to highlight my data set once again, only the data set though. Highlight the data set. And once again, I'm going to go to sort this button here, and I'm going to do a custom sort. And this time, instead of by weights like I did last time, I'm going to sort by age. Click OK. And here we have sorted the data set by the age from the youngest all the way to the oldest. Now I want you to notice something. By changing the order that my data set was in, I've changed my original QQ plot for weights. So you want to be careful of that. Before you create a second QQ plot on the same page, you want to make sure that you actually save your QQ plot that you created for weights in Word or in another on another page of your workbook here in Excel. I would actually just copy it into Word and just get rid of it so you know it's there before you start doing anything else. So I'm going to get rid of that. And now we're going to go ahead and create an actual z-score column, ZA I'll call it, but instead of for weights, we're going to do it for the age now, for the ages. The ages. All right. So this is going to, I'm going to highlight this cell here, right underneath that label, and type equals. Open a parenthesis. I'm going to take the value of the age, the youngest person, and subtract from it the mean age. So I'm going to type average, and it comes up with the average function, average, and I'm going to average the numbers in the age column. So I'm finding the average age. I'm taking the 17, the youngest person, and I'm subtracting the average age. And here I'm going to anchor these things again. So I'm going to put a dollar sign here to anchor it on the second row, and a dollar sign here to anchor it on the 58th row. And I'm going to close the average function. I'm also going to close the numerator. Then I'm going to divide by, so now I'm going to create the denominator, which is the standard deviation. So I got to just start typing standard deviation, and a bunch of suggestions come up. I want the standard deviation dot s, the standard deviation of a sample. Once again, I highlight all the ages because I'm trying to find the standard deviation of the ages. And then I'm going to go ahead and anchor it on row 2 again, and anchor it on row 58 so it doesn't shift downwards as I scroll down. And then I close that final parenthesis and press enter. And this would be the z-score for the smallest age, 17. Then I'm just going to go ahead and drag this all the way down. I put my cursor here until it turns into a plus. You can drag it down, or you can actually just double click right here. If you double click, it just fills it all out, all the way to the end. So these are my actual z-score ages. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my theoretical z column, zt, and my actual z for my ages, and I'm going to create a scatter plot. So I highlight my theoretical z column, highlight it here. Then I hold down the control key, control on my keyboard, and I highlight also the age column here, just the age column. I'm holding down control so I can highlight both columns at the same time. And then I have both of them selected. I go to insert, the insert tab, and I go to the chart wizard here in the insert tab, and I click on the scatter plot button, and it asks me what kind of scatter plot I want. This kind. And here it creates a scatter plot for me. And I'm going to go ahead and add in a trend line. So I right click on the blue dots, right click and go to add trend line. And it'll give me the best linear fit. And looking at the linear fit that it's giving and looking at the actual plot, the scatter plot, my scatter plot is nowhere near that straight line. It's actually looking like it's curving up almost like an exponential function. So based on this QQ plot, this would be my QQ plot for ages of women. This would be my QQ plot for ages of women. And based on this QQ plot, I would say that the ages of women are not normally distributed based on looking at this QQ plot. It doesn't follow a straight line pattern. It doesn't seem to be random at all. It seems to follow actually some kind of exponential growth pattern. And that's my conclusion. My conclusion would be that the ages of women here are not normally distributed.